The Zarthone Dominion was one of the most powerful empires in the galaxy. Their fleet stretched across hundreds of worlds, and their armies crushed any enemy without mercy. So when a single unknown ship entered their territory, the High Council didn't even bother calling for a full fleet. They sent a patrol unit, 3 warships, fully armed, just in case. After all, it was just one small ship. It didn't even match any known designs. Strange, but not threatening. High Commander Varn watched the screens from his command deck with a bored look. "Is this a joke?" he said. "This human ship, that's all they sent?" His officers chuckled. "One scout ship. Maybe they're lost," one said. The crew laughed. The idea that a single human could be a threat was ridiculous. The Dominion had heard of humans, yes, primitive creatures from a backwater planet. Loud, reckless, small in number. No one took them seriously. The 3 warships approached the human scout ship. They sent a warning. "Unidentified vessel. You have entered Zarthone space. Power down and prepare to be boarded." There was no reply. Commander Varn narrowed his eyes. "Send it again." Still no reply. Suddenly, the human ship moved. Not away, but straight toward them. Fast. "Raise shields," Varn shouted. Too late. A blue beam shot from the human scout. Not a normal weapon. It cut through the lead Zarthone ship like it was paper. No explosion. No fire. Just silence. The ship split in 2 and drifted apart. Thousands of Zarthone soldiers died in seconds. The crew on Varn's ship froze. What kind of weapon was that? Someone whispered. The human ship didn't stop. It fired again, this time disabling the 2nd warship's engines. The 3rd tried to run but was hit with a pulse that shut down all systems. The mighty warships of the Dominion were now floating wrecks. Varn stared at the screen, speechless. "Send a message to High Command," he said finally, voice shaking. "Tell them, we were attacked by a human." The human ship didn't stay. It jumped to light speed and vanished. Gone, as quickly as it came. Back on the Zarthone homeworld, the High Council met in panic. One human scout destroyed 3 of our warships. One elder shouted. "How is that possible?" "Perhaps it wasn't just a scout," another suggested. "Maybe it was a secret weapon." They replayed the footage again and again. The ship was small, lightly armored, no signs of a crew. But its weapons were beyond anything the Dominion had ever seen. Then came the most terrifying part, a message left behind. It was short, just one line. This was only a scout. The council room went silent. No one laughed now. Admiral Karish stood and looked around the room. If that was only a scout, what happens when the real army arrives? The fear in the room was clear. The Dominion had fought many enemies, but none like this. None who fought so smart, so fast, so calm. The humans didn't roar in battle. They didn't threaten. They just acted. And that silence was worse than any war cry. Varn, the only surviving commander, gave his report. His voice was weak. The human didn't talk. It didn't show mercy. It didn't even slow down. It came, it saw, and it left. We weren't prepared. We never imagined such power in such a small ship. The scientists tried to study the weapon used. They failed. The energy readings made no sense. The materials used in the scout ship's hull were unknown. Nothing matched any technology that the Dominion knew. And the question kept coming back. Why only one? The Dominion started preparing for war. All fleets were recalled. Planets were put on high alert. Billions of soldiers began training for a human invasion that might come at any moment. But weeks passed, then months. No human fleet arrived. No more scouts. Nothing. Just silence. And that silence was terrifying. Because if one scout could do so much damage, what would a full army do? What kind of empire builds scouts like that? And what kind of monsters send them alone? The Zarthone Dominion, once proud and fearless, now waited in the dark, waiting for the sound of engines, waiting for war, waiting for the humans to return. But the humans never came, and that made the fear even worse. The message was only one line, 7 words. This was only the Scout. We're watching. For days, the Zarthuan scientists stared at it. They ran it through every translation system they had. But it wasn't written in any known language. It was just strange symbols, sharp lines, dots, a strange rhythm. At first, they thought it was a joke. Then they realized the message had been hidden deep in the wreckage, buried in the broken code of their destroyed warship's computers. The human Scout had planted it after the attack. That's when the panic really started. High Commander Varn was in isolation. After surviving the Scout attack, his mind was different. He spoke little. He ate less. His eyes never stopped looking over his shoulder. And when the scientists came to show him the decoded message, he simply nodded. "They already told me," he whispered. "I heard it in my sleep." They didn't believe him until he spoke the exact words of the message before they read it out loud. The High Council met in secret. No press. No guards. Just fear. They said they're watching. Elder Kueller said, his voice shaking. "Why? What are they waiting for?" "Maybe they're testing us," another replied. "Maybe they want to see how we respond." Admiral Karish leaned forward. "Or maybe they want us to panic. Maybe fear is the attack." One council member slammed the table. "We cannot just sit and wait. We must strike Earth. Find them. Destroy them before they come." But no one agreed. They had scanned the area where the Scout appeared. No human fleet. No signals. No trace. It was like the Scout came from nowhere and disappeared the same way. The scientists warned them. The human ship had technology far beyond Dominion standards. Some even believed the Scout wasn't fully human-controlled. Maybe it was AI. Maybe it was part machine, part soldier. Either way, it was terrifying. Meanwhile, strange things started happening. Outposts went dark. Not destroyed, just silent. No signs of battle. No distress calls. Just silence. Elite teams were sent to investigate. They found bases empty. Computers wiped. Power systems offline. No bodies. No blood. Just signs of sudden departure, like the people vanished into thin air. In each place, the same symbol was found burned into the wall. A single eye, watching. The same eye that appeared in the decoded message. Panic spread. Colonists fled outer worlds. Military ships refused to leave safe zones. Whispers of the Watchers grew louder. And still, no humans. One day, a small ship drifted into Dominion space. No weapons, no shields. A message played on loop. "This craft is not a threat. It is for study only. Approach with caution." The Dominion pulled it in with tractor beams. Scientists, soldiers, and engineers surrounded it. Everyone expected a trap. But the ship opened by itself. Inside, there were no weapons, just one object. A book. It was made of strange paper. On the cover was a single phrase in many languages. "Know us before you fight us." The book contained images, human history, war, peace, machines, cities, maps of Earth, notes on human behavior, weaknesses, strengths, mistakes. It showed everything, even the dark parts. But near the end, it had one line in bold letters. "We send scouts because we hate war." That line confused the council more than anything. Why would beings so powerful try to avoid war? Why warn an enemy instead of crushing them? Admiral Karish thought deeply. They're not just soldiers. They're thinkers, planners. They don't fight unless they must. But if we force them, they will destroy us. Some believed the book was a peace offering. Others thought it was a threat in disguise. Either way, the message was clear. Humanity was watching. And they wanted the Dominion to know exactly who they would be fighting. If it came to that, the council was now split. Half wanted to prepare for war. Half wanted to open talks. But no one could contact the humans. No signals reached them, and they sent nothing back. No ships, no threats, no answers, just fear. And that fear grew stronger every day the humans said nothing. Because now, the Zarthun Dominion understood one thing. The real army never arrived. And that scout had never been alone. The Zarthun High Council could no longer sit and wait. The silence from humanity was worse than any threat. The unknown was eating their empire from the inside. People were panicking. Colonies were being abandoned. Soldiers refused to patrol the outer sectors. So they made a choice. A fleet of 10 warships was sent to locate Earth. Go to their home system, said Elder Cooler. Find it. Study it. And, if possible, strike first. Admiral Velar, a trusted warrior and a proud believer in Dominion strength, was given command. His fleet was armed with the best weapons. His crew was loyal. Each ship was full of experts, scientists, soldiers, and spies. As the fleet left, many believed this would end the fear. After all, Earth was just one planet. Even if humans were advanced, they were few. The Dominion ruled hundreds of worlds. How could one world stand against them? The journey to the edge of human space took weeks. At first, everything was quiet. The stars were calm. No ships, no warnings. But then things began to feel wrong. Their navigation systems glitched. Maps shifted slightly. Star patterns looked different. The lead ship reported strange signals, bursts of radio static, then silence. Lights flickered. Energy readings spiked without cause. Ghost signals, one technician whispered. Admiral Velar ordered silence on all channels. We are not here to panic. We are here to scout. The humans want us to fear shadows. We will not give them that victory. But soon, one ship vanished. No explosion. No sign of battle. Just gone. One moment it was there, and the next, empty space. Velar ordered the fleet to regroup. They searched for hours, but found nothing. Just a signal. 3 short beeps, echoing from where the ship had been. The scientists analyzed the beeps. They weren't random. They were Morse code. 3 dots. SOS. The humans were sending messages now, using old Earth technology. The Dominion had studied Morse before, during translation tests. But this was something else. They were mocking them, playing with them. A day later, another ship vanished, then another. Every time, the same thing happened. No battle, no weapons fire, no distress calls, just a faint message left behind. The same 3 dots, then silence. Admiral Velar was furious. They are toying with us. Prepare all weapons. If we see anything, we fire. But there was nothing to fire at. The fleet reduced from 10 ships to 5, then to 3. Finally, only Admiral Velar's ship remained. They had reached Earth's system. The planet was there, blue and green. Calm, quiet, no visible defenses, no ships. But Velar didn't trust what he saw. Scan everything. Look for cloaked fleets. Look for traps. They scanned for hours. Nothing. Velar stood before the main window, staring at Earth. He opened a channel and sent a direct message. This is Admiral Velar of the Zarthun Dominion. We came seeking answers. Show yourselves, or we will take them by force. No answer. Then suddenly, a voice spoke. Soft, calm, human. We already showed you. Velar spun around. Where did that come from? Who said that? But the technicians could not find the source. It wasn't coming from space. It was coming from inside the ship. The lights went out. Screens went dark. One by one, systems shut down. The crew screamed. The air grew cold. Then, across every screen, a single message appeared. This was your only warning. Wheeler looked around. His ship was frozen, powerless, alone, floating above Earth. And still, no human ships, no weapons, no armies, only silence. And then the final message came. We see you. Now go home. With a sudden jolt, the systems restarted. Engines powered back up. Lights returned. But something was wrong. The crew was missing. Only Wheeler remained. He shouted, ran through the ship, searched every room, but the halls were empty. Everyone had vanished. He tried to turn the ship around, to go back, to escape. And he did. His ship returned to Dominion space weeks later, alone. No damage, no evidence of battle, just one terrified admiral. And when the council asked what happened, Wheeler could only say one thing. They let me go. He never spoke again. He never slept again. And from that day on, no one ever dared to enter human space. Because now they understood the truth. The real army never arrived. Because it didn't have to. It had been 3 months since Admiral Wheeler returned, alone, broken, and silent. The Dominion had lost 9 warships. No one knew how. No wreckage. No bodies. Just one haunted survivor. And then, one morning, the human scout came back. It appeared without warning, just like the first time. Same size, same design, floating in high orbit over the capital planet of the Zarthone Dominion. But this time, it didn't fire. This time, it spoke. Across every screen, every device, every speaker, it said one word. Talk. The High Council panicked. Emergency meetings were called. Fleet Command prepared weapons. Anti-ship guns locked onto the human vessel. But the scout didn't move. It hovered, calm and still. Elder Kueller stared at the signal. They are giving us a chance to speak before something worse happens. Many disagreed. They destroyed our fleet. They erased 9 ships like dust. They toyed with us. They shown power, and now they demand to talk. But even the loudest voices were unsure. Fear gripped everyone now. Finally, they answered. This is the Zarthone High Council. We are ready to talk. What do you want? The human voice replied, calm and without anger. We want peace, but not weakness. Elder Kueller leaned forward. Then why attack us? The answer came quickly. We sent a scout. You sent weapons. You responded with fear and fire. We responded with warning. The room went silent. The voice continued. We erased no worlds. We made no threats. We gave you a book, not a bomb. But you sent warships to our home. That was your choice. The truth was heavy. No one could deny it. The humans had never fired first. They had always warned first. Kueller asked, carefully, then why destroy our ships? Because your leaders chose war, and because we needed you to understand what we are capable of. Admiral Karish stood up, face stern. Are you saying this is all just a lesson? There was a pause. No, it's a mirror, a reflection of your own actions. Now the council felt something deeper than fear, shame. They had assumed the humans were primitive, weak, alone, but everything they'd done had been calculated, controlled, powerful, yes, but also patient. Kueller spoke again. What are you? What do you really want? We are humans, explorers, builders, survivors. We do not start wars, but if forced, we will end them. Then the voice added one last thing. This scout is not a weapon. It is a message. The real army never arrived, because it never needed to. But it waits, just in case. The screen went dark. The human scout turned slowly and left. No attack, no demand, just a final warning wrapped in calm words. After it vanished, no one in the Dominion knew what to say. For the first time in thousands of years, the High Council ordered a halt to all military expansion. No more border moves. No more forced colonies. They didn't call it surrender, but it was. Admiral Karish said it clearly during a private meeting. They showed us mercy, not because they had to, but because they chose to. That's more dangerous than any fleet. Fear turned to respect. Respect turned to caution. And then something strange happened. A small gift arrived in Zarathun's space, a pod. Not guarded, not hidden. Inside was a plant. Green, beautiful, from Earth. A note came with it. If you still wish to understand us, grow this, water it, watch it. That is who we are. It was not a threat. It was a seed of peace, and it terrified the Dominion more than any weapon. Because now they understood. The real army never arrived. Because the real strength of humanity was never just in ships or weapons. It was in their control, their silence, and their choice to watch instead of destroy. The human scout had left. No weapons, no demands, just a voice, a warning, and a seed. But the Dominion could not stop thinking about the technology they had seen. The speed of the human scout, the strange power systems, the ability to enter and leave space without being tracked. It was beyond anything they understood. Even though the High Council called for peace, not everyone agreed. In the deep labs of Sector 12, hidden from the public, a secret program began. They called it Project Mirror. The goal, to copy human technology. The scientists had recovered tiny fragments from the destroyed warship the Scout attacked months ago. Inside those fragments were traces of energy the Dominion had never seen before, energy that bent physics, folded light, and erased tracking systems. Commander Riken led the project. He was brilliant, proud, and dangerous. We cannot trust the humans, he told his team. If they ever change their mind, we are finished. So we must become like them, before it's too late. They worked day and night. They scanned the energy fragments. They built machines to replicate the systems. They even tried to rebuild the human scout using old images and sensor logs. One day, they succeeded, almost. The first prototype flew. It moved faster than any Dominion ship. It bent radar and signals. It hovered in the air without sound. Commander Riken smiled. They are not gods. We are catching up. But then, the problems started. Strange things began happening in the lab. Machines broke without warning. Lights flickered. Doors opened and closed by themselves. Computers rewrote their own code. One technician began hearing voices in her head, soft whispers in an unknown language. Another claimed he saw a figure standing in the corner of the lab, even though no one was there. At first, Riken thought it was stress, overwork, imagination. But then the ship itself began acting on its own. It launched a test flight without permission. It moved with impossible precision. And during the flight, it spoke. Return what you took. The voice was cold, not angry, just final. The team panicked. They tried to shut the ship down. It didn't work. They tried to destroy it. It vanished, just disappeared. The security systems locked down. A single phrase appeared on every screen. You were warned. Riken shouted at the control panels. Where is it? Where did the ship go? No one could answer. 2 hours later, every file from Project Mirror was wiped. Not deleted, burned. Even backup systems, disconnected from the network, were empty. Every scientist working on the project received the same message on their personal devices. This is your only chance. Stop. A High Council found out. They were furious, not just because of the secret project, but because it failed, and because now the humans knew. How did they find out? Kueller asked, shaking with fear. Admiral Karish answered slowly. They never left. They've been watching the whole time. Now the Council had no choice. They sent another message into the void. A simple line. "We are sorry. We will not copy your ways." No reply came. For days, silence. Then, on the same night across multiple worlds, the sky lit up. Lines of light, a symbol in the stars. The eye, watching. And just like that, it faded. Commander Riken was removed. Project Mirror was shut down forever. All attempts to copy human tech were banned by law. The lesson was clear. The humans didn't just have power. They had control over information, energy, and fear. They weren't protecting a secret. They were allowing the Dominion to live, as long as the line wasn't crossed again. Because the real army never arrived. It was already here, watching, waiting, and reminding everyone with one silent truth. You don't steal from gods. Far from the Zarthone Dominion, on the edge of the galaxy, another power was growing. They were called the Krell Syndicate, a brutal race, fast conquerors, ruthless leaders. They watched everything. And they had seen what happened to the Dominion. They saw the fear, the silence, and the way even powerful rulers bowed their heads after meeting one human scout. The Krell did not fear humans. They laughed at the Zarthone. They were weak, said Warlord Grask, leader of the Krell Syndicate. We are not like them. We take what we want. These so-called humans will kneel before us. Grask's scientists studied human signals. His spies stole Dominion records. They pieced together everything they could about Earth and its mysterious strength. Then Grask made a decision. We strike now, before they grow stronger. He sent his fleets forward. 10 massive warships, thousands of soldiers, a special command team trained only to attack Earth. But they were smart. They didn't send the fleet directly into human space. Instead, they targeted the outer worlds. Human allies, minor colonies, places with little defense. They struck fast. 3 human ally worlds fell in 2 days. Grask sent a message after each attack. Where is your mighty human army now? He waited for a response. None came. No ships. No scout. Just silence. Then, on the 4th day, his fleet went dark. All 10 warships, gone. No distress signals. No emergency beacons. Only silence. Grask was confused. Angry. He called his war room. Demanded updates. Find my fleet, he shouted. Where are my ships? A technician whispered. They were last seen above the planet Dinar. Then, nothing. He ordered a recon team to go there. They arrived. They saw the planet still turning. Untouched, no sign of battle. But something strange waited above Dinar. Floating in space were 10 Krell warships. Lifeless. Empty. Not destroyed. Just dead. Their power systems were cold. Their engines off. And every ship had one message carved into its metal, in large, deep letters. This was your only warning. The recon team returned in fear. Grask called a full war meeting. This is not possible, he growled. No ships. No weapons. Just words. We are Krell. We do not run. That same night, across every Krell world, lights flickered. Screens turned black. And then a symbol appeared. The eye. Watching. Then a voice. Calm. Cold. Human. You were told. Panic broke out. Military bases lost power. Factories stopped. Commanders disappeared. Grask shouted, "Show yourselves, cowards." And the voice answered, "You struck the innocent. You didn't meet our army. You never will. You are not worth it." Then silence. The next morning, Grask was gone. Not killed. Not taken. Just vanished. His command chair empty. No signs of struggle. Only one thing left behind. A single earth flower in a glass jar. No explanation. Just a message next to it. Grow or be forgotten. The Krell Syndicate collapsed in 1 week. Without leadership, without power, their control broke. Their worlds turned against them. Civil war erupted. And the once mighty empire vanished into history. Other alien races watched in shock. The Krell had been powerful. Now they were a warning. And the warning was clear. The real army never came. Because it didn't need to. Humanity did not rule through fear. They ruled through control, precision, patience. They gave one warning, one scout. And if that wasn't enough, you simply stopped existing. Now, across the stars, whenever a new empire rises, they'd whisper one question. Have you heard about the humans? And they all know the answer. Yes. And we don't want to see them. The galaxy had changed. The Zarthun Dominion had stepped back. The Krell Syndicate had vanished overnight. And yet, no one had ever seen the full human fleet. No human warships. No superweapons. Only one scout ship, one message, one warning. And that was enough to make empires crumble. For a long time, other civilizations waited. They watched the stars, expecting human fleets to appear. But they never did. No invasions, no demands, just silence. It was the silence that scared everyone the most. One day, something strange happened. A signal spread across dozens of star systems. Not a threat, not a command, an invitation. It said, "You may visit, observe, learn." It was signed, the Human Collective. Many leaders believed it was a trick, but some scientists and thinkers saw it as something else. An offer of peace. A small group of ambassadors from 5 different species accepted the call. They were carefully chosen. Not military, not politicians, just people who wanted to understand. They were picked up by a single human ship, sleek, silent, not like anything they'd seen before. Inside, everything felt calm. The ship moved faster than their scanners could track, and yet they felt no motion, no sound, no fear. They reached Earth in hours. When the ship landed, there was no army waiting. No guards, no weapons, just people, smiling, peaceful, strong. The ambassadors stepped out, expecting tall towers or weapons factories. Instead, they found gardens, children playing, artists painting, scientists working in quiet labs. No military bases, no defense towers. One ambassador asked, "Where is your army?" A human replied gently, "You already met it." They were confused, but we saw no soldiers. The human smiled. Exactly. He pointed to the sky. Our army is not ships or guns. It's knowledge. It's patience. It's choice. They were led to a building, simple, not grand. Inside was a single room, full of light. On the wall were words in many alien languages. One line repeated again and again. Power is not in destruction. It is in restraint. The ambassadors didn't speak, because now they understood. Humanity could have destroyed the Dominion. They could have wiped out the Krell. They could have ruled the galaxy. But they didn't, because their strength was never in war. It was in control, in discipline, in fear without violence. One ambassador whispered, "You let us scare ourselves." The human nodded. And from that fear, you changed. You grew. That was the real mission. Another asked, "Then why the scout? Why not speak from the start?" The human looked at him and answered, "Because words mean little in a loud galaxy. We had to show silence first, so you would listen." The ambassadors stayed on Earth for several days. They were treated with kindness, given full access. No secrets were hidden from them. And when they returned to their home worlds, they carried the truth. The real army never arrived, because it didn't need to. Because humanity had learned something no empire had ever understood. You don't rule by fear. You guide by mystery. You lead by watching. You win by never needing to fight. From that day forward, Earth became a symbol, not of domination, but of balance. New civilizations rose, but none dared attack. Instead, they asked to learn. Because now, across every corner of space, one phrase was spoken with respect, with caution, and with awe. The humans are watching. And that was always enough.